Warning: motorsport is a dangerous activity. The events you're about to see were filmed in a controlled environment under the supervision of professionals. Do not attempt to recreate or reenact anything you see on this show. 50 years ago, we saw the creation of the Mint 400, the greatest off-road race in America. Now, we had the chance to go there for the 50th anniversary and capture the action. We had UTVs, trick trucks, buggies and everything else in between, all racing for the overall title. This was the 2017 Polaris RZR Mint 400 presented by BFGoodrich tyres. We thought, what better way to bring you an episode like this than to kit out our Polarises. My co-presenter, Paul Hand, once again, late. But he's bringing his Polaris General, and as you can see, we've got a bunch of goodies to get on these machines. So we'll get to that, you guys get to the action, and we'll see you on the other side. "50 years ago, an off-road race began that would soon turn into the greatest off-road race in America. It has grown into a must-attend event that legends are made of, bringing in some of the biggest racing names, all competing to take the winning title. This is a race like no other. This is the Polaris RZR Mint 400, presented by BFGoodrich tyres.
In 1967, some guys got together and they ran the Baja Peninsula, and that spawned this idea of point-to-point desert racing. And a group of guys here in Las Vegas saw that and went, oh, we could do that here. And so they got into a buggy, actually two buggies, and they drove from Las Vegas to Tahoe and back. And that was what spawned the Mint. And they really had no idea that would ever grow as big as it was. It was really just a stunt to promote the Mint 400 hotel, and it worked. And it began to grow and grow and become a bigger and bigger race, a longer race, and people started, manufacturing vehicles specifically for the race. It grew into this giant spectacle. At one point, there were 500 racers and over 100,000 spectators. So it went dormant for a while, and it was brought back by a local Las Vegas off-road race organization called SNOR. We got involved because we were doing the television at the time, and worked with them for a couple of years, and they sold it to us. Funny thing is, at the time we had no idea how to promote a race or put on a race or anything, so we weren't sure what we were going to do with it. We just understood that the history and the brand had a lot of value, and we had an idea that we could do this and partner with Best in the Desert and create the spectacle that we've created today. We've grown it to the largest race in North America. There are 370 entries. We just broke our own record of 57 trick trucks. Pretty incredible. We expect to continue to grow.
In the middle of the Mojave Desert is the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. The 24/7 non-stop party town where virtually anything goes. This is the central hub for the Polaris RZR Mint 400 presented by BFGoodrich tyres, which has been hosted there for the last 50 years. A 400-mile desert race that is the ultimate test for man and machine. The 2017 event attracted 370 race teams from around the world across 30 different classes, with over $50 million in custom-built machinery, including some big names like BJ Baldwin, Rob McEachran, Jason Voss, and Bryce Menzies. It is considered the most challenging off-road race in North America. Wednesday saw the beginning of the Mint 400 with the 5th annual four-wheel parts vehicle procession powered by Odyssey batteries. Hundreds of racers gathered just outside Las Vegas, where they were unloaded and lined up ready to cruise down the strip.
This is one of my favorite races here in Vegas. The Mint 400 just has so much history, and right from qualifying to tech and contingency to the race. It's just top notch. Mad Media does a tremendous job putting this race on, and we're fortunate to be here.
Police blocked off the entire Vegas Strip so that 150 race vehicles could cruise down in front of tens of thousands of Las Vegas locals and visitors. The vehicle procession finished up at Fremont Street. It was kind of a display area for people to come along, see what the Mint 400's all about, and of course for the unsuspecting tourists that had no idea that $50 million worth of race vehicles were about to turn up on Fremont Street, they had an absolute blast.
This beautiful machine right here is a 2017 Polaris General Deluxe. It is the perfect package of work and play. You've still got the 2-inch receiver for when you're on the farm and you need to tow something around, but you drop all that off and you go hell for leather down those fire trails and through the tight, nasty stuff while listening to the Bluetooth sounds. And if the going really gets tough, you can change in your suspension between soft, medium and hard. It is an absolutely awesome machine, and today I've been lucky enough to receive some things from Polaris New Zealand, so I'm going to install some goodies on this while Caleb's over there working on his RZR. So what I'm doing at the front of the machine now is I'm going to install a tip-out windshield. So in order to do so, I've undone 2 Torx bits at the back, and then I just literally push up at the back, pull it forward, and the whole roof will come away. Underneath there, I will pull off the hard visor with a couple of screws along the top, and the whole roof will come away. Like so. Now, you'll see Polaris has actually already indicated where I will need to drill this out for when I do my hinges, but that's jumping the gun a wee bit. We need to do a few more things and a few more holes before we get into that. So what I'm doing here is I'm installing the little ball mounts for the tip out screen, and these have got gas struts in it for obviously tipping the glass out. So I'll get into those, and everything comes with a nylock nut so you know it's not going to come loose. Okay, we've got those holes drilled up there in the visor. We've now slipped through the 2 bolts either side, which are captured bolts. This is our handle for getting the windshield closed. Literally just clips over. We've got 4 M8s here, correspond to this captured plate, which will go up underneath the dash. In order for us to get in there, you just need to pull out these pockets, and you can easily just feed that through the hole. She's home.
Off-Road Addiction TV is proud to be representing some of the leading brands in the industry. Please make sure you support the guys that support us. The following day, 67 teams gathered just north of Vegas at a place simply known as Apex for the 5th annual Method Race Wheels time trials. The top unlimited and Class 1 vehicles ran a 5-mile qualifying course that determined their start order on race day. The time trials had some of the roughest terrain and was a true test for racers and their vehicles. It was designed to be a good indication of what race day was going to be like. There were jumps, dust, speed sections, loose corners, and even rollovers. Plenty of entertainment for everyone watching from the sidelines. Qualifying in 4th place was Rob McCachran, just behind Andy McMillan, who beat Rob by 4/100ths of a second. Then it was Harley Lettner in 2nd, who defied the odds and was the only Class 1 buggy to qualify in the top 10. But it was Jason Voss who took out the #1 qualifying spot and earned the top position on race day. He walked away with $5,000 cash and a nice shiny trophy. This means that on race day, he will get to start on his own. This is a huge advantage to be able to get ahead of the pack right from the start and avoid all the dust and traffic.
Justin Bean Smith here, 2017 Mint 400. We're racing unlimited buggy, starting in the back today. Didn't have such a great qualifier, ended up clipping some cones and getting some penalties, but we're gonna try and work our way from the back and see what we can do. We got our teammate Tracy Graff not too far behind us, had a little mechanical issue during qualifying. We're gonna be watching our merits because he's gonna be on the move too. He's chasing points, we're just chasing a podium. So we'll see what we can do. There's a lot of good competition out here, a lot of racers, good cars, the whole deal. So hopefully we have the right combination to make it happen and go to the front.
Later that night, the Mint 400 crew took over Fremont Street once again for the 6th annual Method Race Wheels Pit Crew Challenge. This is where the top pit crew teams went head to head to see who was fastest. There was 8 trick trucks and 5 Class 6100 trucks who battled it out for the win. The GHA racing team took out the win for the 6100 class, while Vegas locals, the Terrible Herbs team, came out on top in the trick truck class. Friday saw the Mint 400 Tech and Contingency proceedings take over Fremont Street East once again. The largest gathering in the history of the sport. 370 race vehicles made their way down the jam-packed street filled with over 35,000 off-road enthusiasts and 250 vendors and sponsors. Unlike most motorsports, fans have the opportunity to touch and interact with the race vehicles, and they can meet their heroes. The Mint 400 is a truly unique experience where you can see top race car drivers, have a chat, you can check out their race vehicle. It is just an amazing environment.
Sports upper bars. So that slots in there and we'll just sit it there for the moment. This one does the exact same. These 2 tubes here will literally just bolt together. So 2 there, and also we bolt up underneath here on these wings, and that'll be a good sturdy, and hopefully I don't ever test it out.
As you know, if you've been following us on social media, I've got the 2017 Polaris RZR XP Turbo, and I've absolutely fallen in love with it. I've come from big heavy trucks, and this thing is light, nimble and fast. 168 horsepower, 18 inches of travel in the rear, 16 inches of travel in the front thanks to the Fox shocks, and it rides like a couch. I call it a fast couch. The faster you go, the smoother it is, and you have absolute control while you're driving this. And if you don't like the way the suspension's handling, you've got 28 ways of adjustment to make it ride just the way you want. Anyways, thanks to Polaris New Zealand, we've got a bunch of upgrades that we're doing to these things. Paul's got a bunch of stuff he's sticking on the General. I've got a bunch of stuff I'm sticking on the RZR. I've got some bull bars, windscreen, upper doors, lower doors. It's going to be a pretty deluxe machine. So with 1.6 million ways to customize your Polaris, we've got about 20. We're going to get stuck into it. You guys get back to the Mint 400 footage, and massive thanks to Polaris for supporting an event like this. They have a quality product and they back a quality race. We absolutely thoroughly enjoyed going out to the Mint 400 in the Nevada desert. On race day, 370 race teams gathered at Prim Valley to battle it out through the nearly 400 miles of off-road hell. The limited classes were first, with 256 vehicles across 20 classes lined up at the start-finish line, which featured a brand new short course styled infield. This meant that there were plenty of vantage points for the 20,000 plus spectators to watch the start of the race. Races took off 2 at a time, every 30 seconds on 2 separate tracks that merged into one, so racers needed to put the pedal down if they were to get out in front and avoid being covered in dust. By the time racers got to their second lap, the track was already cut up and causing some carnage. There were classes ranging from UTVs to Class 10 buggies, all sharing the same track and all running for the big win. When it came to the last lap, a third of the 256 racers had succumbed to mechanical issues. Those remaining kept pushing through the final lap to cross that finish line.
The race this year went extremely well. I like to compare it to mixed martial arts. You know, it's one thing when you have 2 guys fighting in a cage, that's mayhem. When you have 370 people fighting in a cage in an off-road race loop, that's, you know, chaos. And it's controlled chaos. But when you consider we did that, I think we had 1 broken arm out of the whole thing. You know, it's pretty incredible. It speaks to the group of people though. Like, it's really a community and people take care of each other and help each other out. So we have a great staff with Best in the Desert. We have a great relationship with their Bureau of Land Management. And then on our side, on the Mad Media crew and all the production, we have really fantastic people working with us to pull this event off every year.
Next up was the unlimited classes. 129 of the top unlimited off-road races across 5 classes lined up at the start-finish line. ready to take on the unforgiving desert terrain that had already been ripped up by 256 limited class vehicles.
Starting position for the race, we're 64th. Unfortunately, we had a driveline break in qualifying, put us at the back, so we have a bit of work cut out for us today to move up to the front.
Riding today in the Mint 400 with Mike von de Sterlo, my rider here, and so qualifying wasn't quite what we hoped. We flipped the truck twice and kept going, and we still ended up qualifying, not in the back, so that's good. And it's a little bit of a long day, and truck's a little beat up, but we're gonna have fun out there and go try to do the best we can.
Off-Road Addiction TV is proud to be representing some of the leading brands in the industry. Please make sure you support the guys that support us. So I've installed my front bumper. I went with the white lightning just because the black accents, I thought whiter stand out a little bit. And it's very simple. Literally the two holes pops through at the top. And at the bottom there's a plate. It's got 4 wedge anchors in it, so you make sure you line up the slots, push them in and tighten them up. As simple as that. Install. So now we're onto the rock slider. As you can see, nicely notched out to suit the tube frame that runs behind the plastic panel here. So this literally, again, just sits on, tighten the bolts up, we have sliders. So I finally got a roof on. Absolutely stoked with that because last time we went out it was pouring with rain. So now I've got this tricked out looking alloy sports racing roof and we're good to go. I can't wait to get this on. It's simple as, comes with clips, bolts, washers, done. Literally flip them on, screw them down and you're in. Right, absolutely stoked to have these lower doors to bolt in. So these fit in down here, creating a full door. Now with this little gap being open and these nice wide wheels, you get a little bit of splatter coming in. You end up with one side here sort of covered in mud. So with these, problem solved. Now to put these lower doors in, nice and easy, you get the Torx bit that's supplied by Polaris. You undo these, plastic comes off. You literally get this, slide it in here like that, do up your nuts and bolts here, do up your nuts here, boom, done. Racers took off at speed from the start line in the hopes of getting ahead of their competitor and leaving them in the dust. The course was made up of terrain that put man and machine to the ultimate test. There were hills, whoops, tight turns and speed sections with racers leaving massive dust clouds in their wake. The dry lake bed gives a wide open field for racers to punch it through, with the top unlimited trick trucks hitting speeds of nearly 140 miles per hour. The desert is brutal. It can be very tough on this race equipment. There is a lot of factors that can easily take teams out of the race, so it is crucial to be consistent and methodical, yet know when to be quick and push hard. As the sun set across the desert, racers made their last dash to the finish. The top contenders gave it their all to get across the line first, but it was Rob McCachran who took out the overall win and was crowned the 2017 Mint 400 champion.
It was great. I've born and raised in Las Vegas, raced my first Mint 400 in the early 80s, and I won it in Class 8, Class 7S, 1-2-1600, but never won overall before. So 3 of the last 5 years we were leading it. On the last lap I had a mechanical problem, so it was really good to get it done, kind of get that monkey off my back. And the whole last lap I was just thinking, nothing happen, please, nothing happen. So when we started last lap, we weren't leading. Andy McMillan actually was leading then, and he ended up getting a flat tire. It's the toughest off-road race in the United States. It was great to get this win in this year, 2017.
Out of 370 race teams that entered, only 250 finished, proving that the Mint 400 really is one of the toughest off-road races in the world, and just finishing the race is an amazing feat.
Well, that's been a successful night. We've got a few goodies slapped on the rigs there.
Yes. It's been a long night. It's what, 12:30 in the morning? Time to go home?
Very much so. I've still got a long drive ahead of me.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
I gotta jump in and drive the RZR all the way home.
Sure, I'm going to cheer up the neighbours when I unload this bad boy and put it back in the shed, but that's okay. Looking forward to next time when we actually get it out and can utilise these parts and put them through the paces.
Yeah, definitely. They both look pretty cool. I'm absolutely stoked to have a roof and a couple of bull bars for protection, some rock sliders.
Protection from what, mate?
Nature.
Hey.
Nature jumps out at you occasionally, you know. We hope you guys enjoyed the Mint 400 episode. Massive thank you to the Martelli brothers and Mad Media for hosting such a badass event. We hope to come back one day. We hope you guys enjoyed the install. If you did, make sure you like, share and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. Coming up on the next episode, we head to the Woodhill 100 off-road race in Auckland, New Zealand. Check us out on social media, where we post daily pictures and videos to keep you entertained until your next off-road addiction fix.
Loose! Oh, you're not filming that. How the girls going to see me fix it?
We certainly had a
blast.
We certainly threw some bras at us. We love it.
I don't know where my instructions are. Gary, where's my instructions? Quite ask Gary to come and give me a hand. No mates. Scott, no friends.